Hello everyone and welcome to another review. Today I have a fragrance for you. It's classic. It was released in 1986. It is none other than Calvin Klein's Obsession for Men. Here's the bottle. I'll be perfectly honest, I actually never got a chance to own this bottle or smell this until last year. I saw it on sale quite cheap for around $15, I think $20, and decided, you know what, why not? This is actually the 75 milliliter. It can more commonly be found in 125 milliliters, and it's got a pretty big bottle, a little bit higher than that. But if you can, it's probably best to purchase this from somewhere other than the Calvin Klein website. The Calvin Klein website is going to have it on sale for about, I think it was $67 to $70 basically for the 125 milliliters. And at this point, you can get it much cheaper. However, on the other side is that this is highly copied and this is highly spoofed, and getting a fake fragrance, it wouldn't be too far out of reach for it. But, you know, it's a risk. Purchase it from a website like Fragrantica, or, I'm sorry, not Fragrantica, but Fragrance Net or some other type of website. I'll list a couple of links down below. But yes, here's the bottle. It's a very simple sub bottle, just says Obsession, Calvin Klein. The sprayer is actually, you know, a standard sprayer, but bottle design pretty simple. This was a 75 milliliter. Now, the parfum of this fragrance is Bob Slattery. Now, I haven't seen any other fragrance that this guy is actually credited for. It's only this Calvin Klein's Obsession that he's actually known for, or is attributed to creating. Now, again, I mentioned this fragrance was released in 1986, and that I hadn't got a chance to smell it. Now, when I did get a chance to smell it, the first thing that popped into my mind was prototype. I felt like this almost had the DNA of a lot of fragrances that we know nowadays, especially the Orientals that are kind of coming out. It kind of has strands of it, and you can kind of detect strands of it, you know, from other those type of fragrances. The second thing that came to mind was barbershop type of smell. I got a couple of smells from it, but let's just get into the notes really quick for it. Now, the notes that this consists of for the top are mandarin, bergamot, cinnamon, and some other notes are actually credited to it. The mid notes we have lavender, myrrh, sage, clove, nutmeg, and coriander. And the base, we have amber, musk, sandalwood, vetiver, and patchouli. So a lot of woods, a lot of spices in this, and at the top we've got citrus kind of mixed into it. When you first immediately spray this, you do get the citrus, but the citrus goes away very quick, and I suspect it's the citrus that kind of gives it a very strong pudding smell, basically, to it. When you immediately spray it, it comes across as one of those 80s powerhouse fragrances that many of us may be familiar with. It comes off as very strong, very aggressive. It really makes its presence known. Now, right off the bat, I'm probably going to tell you that you should ideally spray this on your skin. Musk has a couple other ingredients that work a lot better on the skin than it does on your clothes. And for the second reason is because of what it actually turns into and what it actually dries down to. It dries down to a very soft vanilla smell. The spices, while they're very aggressive when you first spray it, the spices calm down to a very soothing scent, to a very comforting and warm and an inviting scent. So it turns into a very sweet, inviting, warm scent with a little bit of spices in the background. If you don't spray it on your skin, you kind of get that harsh opening for a much longer time for it, and it doesn't develop as well as it can once the fragrance actually interacts with your skin. So just keep that in mind with this fragrance. So how many sprays? I give this one usually anywhere between 1 and 3 sprays, usually about 3 sprays, 1 on each wrist and then 1 to the head, and that's it. That's done with it. That's perfect for it. The one kind of misleading thing about this fragrance is when you initially spray it, it may come across as a very aggressive and harsh fragrance. So initially spraying it, it will calm down again, but give it some time. Give it some time for it to develop and come into its own, for it to get to the true actual fragrance for it. So it's not going to remain the huge projection monster at the beginning. It's going to turn into something, like I said, soft and warm and inviting. For the occasion, initially I would classify this as a fall to winter fragrance. However, I have smelled this, in the summer, and it works just as good once it's past that initial 1 hour phase. Basically, once it gets into the dry down, it becomes a very pleasant scent as long as you control how much you spray on yourself. Don't go overboard. This is a classic fragrance that you can easily way overspray and really choke people out for it. So just be careful on how many sprays you actually apply for this fragrance. As far as projection and sillage go, projection, again, very good in the very beginning, and it kind of comes down to a more average projection scent. So don't expect the monster projection that you get when you first spray it. It really calms down and becomes something nice and soothing for it. Sillage, same thing, relieves an incredible scent trail when you first spray it, but the scent trail turns into an average scent trail over time. As far as occasion goes, kind of going on with the fall winter thing, though you can wear it in any season. Occasion, I really would suggest this for casual occasions, work occasions, and even date occasions. The problem with work and date occasions, though, is people have smelled this smell before. They know what it smells like, and to some people it smells like an old man. To some people it's a little bit off-putting. So if you wear this fragrance, chances are people are going to know what it is exactly that you're wearing, just because Obsession is such a popular fragrance. It's been around for such a long time that most people do know it. Again, I just got this one last year and got my hands on it, and once I immediately smelled it, I knew what I was smelling. I'd smelled it around people before, so it is one of the more popular fragrances, and it won't get you any points on being original or anything like that, but still a nice fragrance. For longevity, anywhere between 8 and 12 hours for me on this one. This one does last on my skin a good amount of time. Again, 8 to 12 hours, will last, the majority of the day for it. So be careful on the trigger, definitely on this one. Be careful. As far as age group goes, the most frequent comment again, old man smell. I highly recommend this one for only 30 and up. If you wear it younger, feel free. It's just that a lot of people may associate you smelling with an old man. So just be careful for it. As far as what other people thought, here's what they thought.
So this is Obsession, and I really like it. Although I can tell it might not be for everyone. That I give it maybe like a B plus A minus. But I personally like it, and I think it's lovely.
It's musky, is that it?
At first I thought cinnamon, but after a while it just smells like musk.
Old Spice or something?
Old Spice. Typical aftershave. Musk type of thing.
Yeah.
That's actually Obsession.
Obsession.
Is it?
Yeah.
I don't know. Not my favorite one.
I think I'd give it a B. It's
give
not
it a
too bad
C.
for me. He's negative.
Go.
This one's a spicy old man. Gets a D. I don't like it.
As you can see, the most common phrases were musky, cinnamon, Old Spice, smells like Old Spice, spicy, and old man type scent. Old man type scent was easily the most common scent, or the most common word that I got, not just from people in the video, but from people outside of the video. They said that it smelled like an old man. It reminded them of an old man. Very spicy, too spicy for some, a little bit too musky for some. But there were a good amount of people who did like it and who did enjoy the scent and who thought that it was very inviting, a very attractive scent. Many people thought that it smelled a lot better once it hit the dry down rather than the opening. Opening was a little bit too harsh for some people, but as it dried down, it became a much more tolerable fragrance for them. So that's kind of the overall vibe from it. B, C, B+, and D were the ratings that those people gave it from the video, and it's kind of consistent with the opinions that I got from people. Probably around 75% enjoyed it, and there was about 25% who couldn't get past the old man type scent and gave it a pass. So, the ratings that I give for this fragrance. For the scent, I give this fragrance a C+. For the scent, the reason why I give it a C+ is I really do enjoy the scent. It is a very nice scent, but I would only classify it for me as above average. It really is. I hate to use the word outdated because I really don't think scents can be outdated. It really just depends on, when you've smelled a scent, when you associate a scent with a certain time. But at the same time, it felt like the grandfather of a lot of the modern scents that we have. My personal favorite scent is Muscat Ravageur, and it kind of feels almost like the great-great-great-grandfather to Musc Ravageur in some weird sort of way. It does have a clovish type smell. It does have a cinnamon, vanilla type vibe in it. So they're a little bit similar into it, but, obviously they're two different scents. But C+ for the scent. For projection, we have B. Projection B. It projects very well. It's a monster projection when you very first apply it, but as time goes on and it kind of calms down, it becomes a lot more tolerable, but still maintains good projection. So projection, it gets a B. For sillage, it gets a B+. The sillage is crazy again when you first spray it. It dries down, but it still leaves a very nice scent trail that will pretty much last the 8 hours. As you pass by people, they're going to smell Obsession that you're wearing and pretty much get just that. So sillage, B+. For uniqueness, this gets a B+. I give it a B+ for uniqueness because of the fact that it was released I'm saying so long ago, but yes, in '86, and was pretty much groundbreaking and original for that time. It was a very good fragrance for that time. It's a bit outdated now, but I'm not gonna kick it in the butt basically for uniqueness because of the fact that it's such an old fragrance. So uniqueness, it gets a B+. For longevity, B+ as well. Again, 8 to 12 hours. If you go more on the sprays, expect it to last a little bit longer, but at the same time, you want to be careful with the sprays. It is a monster. It is something that does need to be controlled from that aspect. For versatility, I give this one a C. Versatility, this is probably a little bit higher rating than I probably should have given it. Versatility, I find it very hard to wear. The reason being is the main probable place that I would possibly wear this, again, even though I listed, work, date, and casual, the only place that I can really see myself wearing this one is a date fragrance, and for that I've got a plethora of other fragrances that I think do a better job for it. But I would put it in the average category, hence it's giving it a C in terms of versatility, because it can be worn to a decent amount of functions just as much as it cannot be worn to the same amount of functions. So versatility, a C. For compliments, I give it a C as well. You're going to find people who love this smell. You're going to find people who hate this smell. But at the same time, you're going to find people who recognize the smell and who have already seen it, and who probably won't compliment you on the fact, because they know what that smell is, they're used to it, and it's not going to jump out at them. So compliments, it gets a C. For the overall rating that I'm going to give this scent, overall, I'm going to give it a B-. Overall, I think it's a very nice scent that, for its time, was absolutely fantastic and outstanding. But nowadays, it's a little bit dated. I would never recommend it for anyone going to buy a new date-type fragrance or going to buy a new fragrance for it. There are other, and I know this is all subjective, but in my opinion, better options for you to actually purchase for the money. But it is a classic. If you don't have it in your collection, you're a fragrance collector, I'm not sure what you're waiting for. It should be in your collection. Definitely pick this one if you're collecting. Other than that, if you're an everyday type person, just looking for something to get you, I would probably suggest something else out there rather than Obsession for Men. But still is a good fragrance. Again, B- is still a good rating for it. And that's about it. If you have any questions whatsoever, leave me a message, comment below. Have a great day, take care of yourselves, and time to go enjoy the day.